Alright, hello. Hi there, Pichu. Yes, not running into walls is one of the strategies, I guess. I'm not sure if you can call it that, but okay. Mayonnaise is not a strategy. Although it would be funny if it was. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, if you covered the floor in mayonnaise, it would be slippery, so you would be sliding faster, I guess. I don't know. I mean, killing enemies is part of the speedrunning, so it's not exactly about killing enemies, it's about killing them quickly. So these I don't care about. Is this basically what the chat is gonna be the whole time? I also forgot to change the chat. No, well, whatever. Yes, I have and I do, so yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna let you guys troll jokes like that and not respond at all because because why would I? I don't care about those either. I do care about those though. Yes, it is Pichu. Ah, shit. uh, I got caught. I would, but there is no movement speed upgrade. I wish there was though. Is that seriously as far as I can go? 500? I guess. I mean, hoverbike speed is not... Yeah, close enough. Close enough. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn on this thing. Why the hell is it? Oh, yeah, right. Yes, I did not forget this time, Nox. So I'm gonna start in a bit. I'm just... Also, by the way, is the stream what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, if the stream is having any sort of issues or lag, tell me so that I can try and fix things. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna do a run from 1 to 500. And then as a warm-up run, and then I'm gonna start explaining my strategies and the routing that I do. Oh boy. That's a great start. I have the wrong builds on out. I also should be over here. Yep. I also need to change my refresh rate to 120 just so it's better for me. I hope that didn't break anything. How much does the blue butterfly change in the speedrun? What do you mean by that? Like legit though, what do you mean? I would be playing public world, but first of all, I don't want to be boosting people, and there's network lag. So yeah. No, it's not. I'm just doing a little bit of a warm-up to remember my routing, because that's what warm-ups are basically. Okay then. No, it's not pass. It would be funny if it was though, because tassing this game wouldn't be easy. I'm a bit too good? Why would I be too good? S cannot beat my times on hoverbike, because the max speed on foot is way faster than that. It's just like way faster. Even at max speed, the hoverbike is still way slower than on foot. I mean, isn't everyone doing mass enemy murder in this game? Begging this for higher hoverbike speed caps. I mean, there was an idea that you would get the equivalent of overpowered from tie clickers would be a faster hoverbike, and then you have the other research cube, which would increase the effectiveness of all researches. So I'm assuming you would be able to raise the hoverbike speed cap with those. Is there a use for entering, exiting hoverbike teleporting you? Yes, if I'm falling down on the moon, it would reset me back to the ground, and I would be able to continue without falling off and getting teleported back several zones sometimes. The other use on the rest of the planets is when I run into a wall that I can't get out of without losing my speed. Since the hoverbike doesn't reset your momentum, you can teleport into your hoverbike to keep your momentum and get out, and reposition yourself to get out and get to the next zone. So like, let's say that I run into, I don't know, some walls somewhere. I don't think there is one here, but like, let's say that I run into this here. I will just reset and continue. I didn't do it properly here, but you get what I mean. Like, it's just in case I run into all that I can get out of. Like, if I ended up here, I can't get out, I just teleport and continue. How's the audio, by the way? I made some changes since last time to try and make it better. For anyone that joined a little late, what I'm doing right now is just a warm-up run to see my routing, and then once I get to zone 500, I'm gonna restart and start explaining my routing for each and every zone, and why my routing is what it is. Why is the soldier as fast as Sonic the Hedgehog? I don't know. Because of the jetpack, I guess. This is another example of using the hoverbike. Sometimes when I'm speedrunning, I can overshoot the entrance, and because of this overhang right here, I can get stuck over here, and I can't get out without going backwards and losing my speed. So I would just run into the wall, teleport, and continue without losing my speed, because the placement of the hoverbike allows me to reposition myself towards the exit. So it's very useful sometimes if you do it right, but ideally you don't want to be using the hover bike at all. Maybe there are some zones where even using it can be beneficial to your times because it teleports you way further ahead. But I haven't really looked into that, and I don't think I would gain that much time. Maybe 1 or 2 seconds over the regular speedrun times. The stream did not have as many Tuhu memes as I expected, but it's still nice. I never said that it would have any memes, Tuhu memes, but okay. If you say so. What I did plan to have is to rename the to have like Tuhu related follow notifications and all that stuff. But I still haven't really thought about that, how I'm gonna do it and all that stuff. But I definitely want something to do something about it. Because I'm a Toho fanboy after all, so having a Toho theme stream would be fitting. But I don't know how I'm gonna do that yet, so yeah. So just 100 more zones, and then I'll actually start doing the thing that I intended to do, which is the stream title. Which is explained in the stream title, I should say. Well then, what happened there? No, what I intended was to do what the stream title says, but I wanted to get a warm-up first to get a feel of what my routing would be, so that I don't waste time like wondering what my routing actually is and all that stuff. Well, I guess you can say that, but for me it's just a warm-up, because I've shown my speed many times by now, and I think people are actually getting bored of it, so I'm trying to do something else. I'm 3 minutes behind, that's how bad this warm-up is. Usually it's like maybe 30 or 40 seconds behind, but since I wasted time doing other stuff, it's way worse than usual. But I'm not going to be speedrunning anyways, I don't think. I'm just gonna do this warm-up and get on with the actual routing, which I think some people actually would be interested in seeing. Action Hank, I don't know that game. I could check it out what it is though, maybe it will have some speedrunning potential there. It was a GDQ, so it probably has speedrunning potential. Okay then. But when do we get Mario speedruns? I mean, I don't think I'm consistent enough I don't think I'm good enough at games to be doing Mario speedruns. Because from what I remember, I've never completed the Super Mario Bros. Like ever. The original one. Hotel Mario? I have no idea what this is. Hey, 1300, no, that's not bad. Considering I had no upgrades in these. Okay, so I want to get rid of my turret and drone, so that they don't get in the way. And this is where the actual speedrunning begins. Yep. Okay. Not the speedrunning, not the explanations. I mean. So first off, when you let me just lower my volume. So when you start over here, the enemy spawns over there, and either your turret or your drone will take care of it. So what you want to do is dash diagonally this way, and then continue forward, because your turret is over there. The turret will take care of these enemies over here. This is where the turret is, so it will take care. They spawn over here, so the turret will take care of them. And like I said, you want to go to here because this is the shortest route. The other option is that you follow the main path, go up these stairs over here and go over, but you don't get much of an advantage there. If anything, it's harder to do because getting up those stairs without like running into this sidewall over here and then follow up by running into this, you're more likely to lose time than gain time. So preferably you want to go through this structure thing over here. I don't know what to call it, like roofless and wallless house, or I guess broken building, I don't know. And then you continue forward. These enemies spawn right in front of you, so pretty much anything can take care of them. You don't need to shoot. And then when you get over here, there's enemies over here. They are also pretty much right in your main path, so anything can take care of them. Your click weapon, turret or drone, whatever. And then for this part over here, it can be a little tricky. You can go the safe route and go through here and just spawn actually from like that and just kill them and go through the door, or you can try and be fancy and go from above, like from over here, and then kill them from over here and go through the door. Now this is pretty much an easy section. You just go straight forward, follow the path. There's nothing special about it. These zones are nothing special. You can just YOLO it. So for this one, you want to stay up high. Well, not up high like over there, but you want to stay. You don't want to be on the main path, because the main path is lower than some enemy spawns, like on the next zone, I think. Yeah, you can see how they spawn over there, and there's a bridge over here. So you want to stay up as much as possible. If you get down, you definitely want to go back up as soon as possible. So what I do is go over here and then shoot from over here, then go right above these guys and do that. And once you're over here, just spawn the. Oh yeah, for bigger hordes like this, you can see how spread out it is. And if you're using the rocket launcher like I am, you have two options. You can go from over here and kill the enemies from this side. You go from the main path and do 1 and 2. Well, normally you would kill all of them, but you can start with a close range rocket here and then a longer range over here, then go through the door. But what I do is I just go forward, and once I am in the air about midway, I shoot a rocket there and I shoot a rocket there, and everything is dead. Now over here, nothing special. When you go through the door, you can just go up here, kill the enemies that spawn. Same thing over here. This is a pretty important part over here. When you're transitioning from zone 16 to zone 17, you want to double jump to get onto this little hill over here, so that you can continue on this hill over here, then on this one right over those, and then you reach the boss. So follow the hills. That's basically what this area is about. From the moment you enter the door, you want to stay on the hills and nothing else. Just jump from hill to hill. Over here, double jump. I messed it up, but you get my point. Like, just stay on the hills. And from here, this is a little bit tricky. Spawn the boss, and then you want to this corner is very hard to do. Okay, if you're going fast, going from over here and through the door is kinda hard without running into this thing over here. So you gotta be careful with that. What you want to do is, when you're going through the door, you want to corner quickly. I didn't do it right, but before entering the door, before touching the ground, you want to turn your mouse kinda this way, so that the strafe dash, which is forward, left, and dash. So you want the strafe dash to bring you over this way, so that you don't run into this corner over here, because that can lose you 1 second, if not more. So this area is pretty straightforward. Enemy spawn over here. You just kill them as you're going through. Just as you're going through, you just kill them. Same thing over here. The same thing is over here. You want to kill them. On this one in particular, you might want 2 rockets because of the arc of enemies. That is, I'm gonna make myself a laser pointer. That's basically what I'm gonna do. There we go. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So, since the enemies are following like a big arc, you might want to need to shoot a rocket over here and then over here. And then you want to avoid going up there, because it might mess up your routing for the horde and the door. So you can go from the side over here, just around the main path. This one is very tricky. The enemies are right in front of you, but because of the terrain placement over here, yes, this is going to be on YouTube. Once I'm done with the stream, I will export it to YouTube. I do that with pretty much all of my streams, unless I don't like how the stream turned out. If I didn't like how it turned out, I just delete it. So yeah, this zone is very tricky because the horde is right behind it, and you have 2 options: going above or going on the side. You might be inclined to go from the top, because there's a nice little staircase for you over here, but that leads into some problems, like directing yourself towards the door and falling down to the door in time can cause you to end up over here or over here, and you don't want that, because you can see how there's like I don't know how to explain. There's like a ledge over here, so you might end up jumping between these two different sections and just lose a lot of time. And if you end up over here, you can also end up in this corner over here, which is also a bunch of lost time. So what you want to do is basically go through the main path. And this corner over here is a little bit difficult, but with enough practice it can be done. As for killing the horde, as you spawn it as soon as you enter, you just spam left click if you can. That's your best choice for this. If you don't want to spam, and if you think that you're precise enough with the spawning, when you enter you spawn, and 2 rockets should be enough. One on this side and one on this side. The one on this side is for when you enter, the one on this side is for when you're about to exit. Yes, the chat will also be in the video because I don't stream and record at the same time, so what you're seeing on screen is the same thing that is gonna be on YouTube. So yeah, this corner is a little bit difficult to do. I'm gonna try and do it on the shorter from the previous, from over here. And you can see how I'm like that. That's what you need to do. You want to go through the corner over here. I didn't kill the horde, but ideally your drone and turret will take care of it. I don't have them because I don't want them interfering with my demonstrations. Can the video be uploaded on Vimeo? What the hell is Vimeo? Seriously. So yeah, this corner is a little tricky, but ideally you wouldn't end up in this corner. Getting in this corner when you're going through the main path is kinda hard. What you can do is instead hug this wall over here. This wall is pretty nice because as you're exiting the wall you will be automatically brought towards this side, and this part over here you don't want to go over there. This is bad. Don't go there. How much? This isn't all soup. There's no combos here, Pichu. Okay, so I'm gonna let the enemies go back to their spawns. So as you're entering over here, you want to go over here. You want to get on the hill. That's what you want to do. So you want to go through the main path on the side and then go up here because you have some nice steps, and these steps are very good for accelerating. I don't know why, but they are. That's what I've noticed. So the enemies spawn over there. They're not too hard to kill. You can just shoot from like over here. For this zone you have 2 options. You can go through over there or over there. These are your 2 options. The steps, they make you accelerate a little bit more from the after this one, but it can result into a loss of time if you don't get it right. So if you're unsure, just take the main path after this one over here and just kill them like that as you're going through. How many frames have we saved already? I mean none, because I'm not speedrunning, I'm just showing my routing right now. So yeah, take the main path if you're unsure, and then once you get over here also follow the main path because you're coming up to the boss zone. For most boss zones what you want to do is stay as low as possible for most of them. So the enemies spawn over there, and you just, as you're going through from the main path or from over here, I mean both work, but this one is a little bit trickier because you can get stuck over here or something, or maybe even end up over here. There's plenty of places to get stuck, so ideally just go through the main path and kill them from over here. And then boss zone, once again just go for the door. This is a straight line, so it's fairly easy to aim. These zones are super easy, just follow the path Okay, except you need to learn the spawns here. You can't. Something that you need to do is learn where the enemies spawn, because that's going to be essential for aiming your weapon, whatever it is, whether it's rocket or spread pistol. This isn't spread, but you get the idea. Some people use spread pistol, others use rocket splash. I use rocket splash because I find it to be more reliable, even though it's slower. So you gotta learn where the enemies spawn. As you can see, they spawn in a horizontal line from over here to over there. This is basically it. So using the rockets is not a bad idea here, because you just insta kill everything. You don't need to aim, just shoot in front of you. These guys are over there, so you want to avoid going through that part over here. Or you can, but you need to be kinda sneaky about it. You gotta shoot from like over here. You see what I mean? You gotta shoot from like over here, so that you don't run into the zone wall over here. Have you tried X4 slow rockets? No, but I have tried 3x slow rockets, and they're pretty slow. And I can show you actually. Oh wait, I can't because I don't have 3x for stacking, but whatever. Oh wait, I think I can get it though. There we go. Slow is this. They are pretty damn slow. Like it's very slow. Use that in the speedrun. Yeah, you're funny. So yeah, this zone you want to go through here if possible, and then if you're not careful with your positioning, you might end up in this corner over here, and you might end up getting stuck in these little ledges. You don't want that at all. So ideally you would do a straight line from over there to over here, so that you can corner easily, and then you just kill the enemies from a straight line. And once again we see the same issue as the zone before this one. The enemies are on one side when you have two paths. So you want to stay on this side and just go through them, shoot 2 rockets, and you're done. If you get stuck, can't you just stop holding W? You get way more air control like that. From my experience, letting go of W is never a good idea. Why? Because I'm almost always holding A or D. So what that does is when I'm dashing using WA or WD, I would end up being propulsed in the direction I want to. But if I'm not holding W, I'm actually gonna try and show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna start from over here just to show you. So because of the way my dashing strategy works, is that I turn my mouse in one direction and then in the other, and change the direction appropriately. If I let go of that button, I end up going backwards. This is what happens. I can't let go of W and stay going forward. That's just how it works. So yeah, if I let go of W while I'm dashing, I just end up going backwards because of simply the way I have my dashing set up. So as you're going through here, since these are very spread out, what you want to do is shoot a rocket forward as you're entering, or soon after you entered. It's not odd. If you think about it, it's fine. Like, if you think about it, because when I'm turning my mouse to the left, I am doing forward and left, and then dashing, because that's where I want to go, and that's how dash will bring me there. When I want to go from the left to the right, I will switch directions with the mouse. And if I let go of W, if I'm not holding W when I'm dashing, and I have my mouse turned this way, and I'm holding left, what happens is instead of having forward momentum, I end up having backwards momentum. So if I have forward momentum, I turn and then I dash, I end up going backwards because of the Victor speeds. I'm gonna try and show you in Paint real quick. This is gonna be a shitty live Paint edit thing, I don't know. Where's, there it is, Jesus. That's not. Okay, so let's say that this is the zone wall over here, and this is forward. If you're holding WD, you are going this way. And if you're holding WD, you want to go this way, and you have to turn your mouse this way if you want to go that way. So what happens here is a resulting vector force of this. So if you add up the two vectors, consider these as two different vectors. This is the mouse, and then this is the keyboard, right? So when you add up the two vectors, you end up with whoops. Ah, come on. So you will think that you end up with this, but since your mouse is pointing in this direction, it is actually like this. You first apply the mouse vector, and then you apply the keyboard vector. So you end up having a vector that's this way. This is your resulting vector when you're holding WD and the mouse is in the not WD, come on, I'm an idiot. This is false, forget about that. WA. Okay, so if you're holding WA and your mouse is 45 degrees to the left, yep, I realized that a little bit too late. So your resulting vector would be this way, because you're turning your initial vector because of the mouse, so your resulting vector would be in this direction, which is what makes me turn basically. If you get rid of W, what happens is that your mouse vector, line, red, this is your mouse vector again, and this time your keyboard vector is this way. Whoops. This time your keyboard vector is this way. So when you turn this vector with the mouse rotation, you end up with a vector that's going backwards. So you may get more air control, but as soon as you touch the ground, if you don't press W before you touch the ground, you would end up going backwards because of the rotation that the mouse does on the vector. That's what happens. So that's that. Also, I realized that paint was about everything, so whatever. Anyways, that's that. That's why pressing only one direction on the side causes you to go backwards. Like, this is what happens. This is what it would be normally without W. If I wanted to go the way I wanted to using only A and D, I would have to do the opposite, which is counterintuitive, and it's very hard to do. As you can see, it's not nearly as effective as the strafe dashing that I'm doing. You see what I mean? While as if I'm using diagonals, I can gain speed pretty damn fast. So these zones are pretty straightforward, except this one. This one, all zones in this section are just shoot in front of you and that's it. Well, I don't know. If you're able to make a video on it and show me how you do it, maybe, but I found that the strafing is much better for me than just sideways, so that works for me and that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Nobody has beaten my times yet with a different method, so I'm just gonna consider it as the best method for me. If anyone has a better method than that, then I don't care. Also, I can turn these off. So as you're going to zone 37, zone 38, you will hit the wall. You will most surely hit the wall, but as you're entering over here through the tunnel, I'm just gonna wait for the enemies to no, I'm not gonna force you to stream the game. If you don't want to, that's fine, but if you can't record it or just don't want to, that's fine. But I found strafe dashing to be the best method for me because regular bunny hopping does not work for me in any capacity. It just does not. Not only because of the amount of reflexes that it requires, but also because it's impractical, because sometimes you will need to aim downwards or left or like weird stuff like that. Your mouse is not static. Your mouse moves all over the place depending on the zone, especially on the zone that I'm about to show. And not only that, but you're never going in a straight line. Like, I have not seen a faster way to accelerate than strafe dashing. I've noticed that strafe dashing is basically the fastest way to accelerate in the zigzag pattern. I'm gonna show what I mean when I get to the ship zones. I'm also gonna get myself something to drink because my throat is dry. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with stuff to drink. So yeah, if you have a better acceleration method, go for it. But I just haven't found a reliable way of doing it without some crazy maneuvering or some crazy reflexes. That's just the most practical way for me to strafe dash in a zigzag and just aim wherever I want and adjust accordingly. There's only a few places where there's actually a few places where I use only a single direction, which is right. It's somewhere on the ship zones. There's a few spawns that are like only on one side, and the turret can hit all of them. So I have to end up going sideways and shooting in this direction, but that's basically the only place I do it that way. So yeah, this tricky zone. there's no way to have enemies killed as soon as you enter, so you would end up doing this. You would end up running into the wall and just shooting in this direction and waiting for enemies to get killed. This one is straightforward. You just go for you just shoot straight ahead. This corner is kind of difficult to do, to be honest. I've had lots of trouble doing it because you have this thing over here. This thing is very hard not to run into when you're going around the corner. What the hell is that? What is this? What's going on? I think he's having an aneurysm or something. Hello? You okay there, buddy? Let's see that happen again. And there he goes. Nice. So yeah, these are very hard not to hit on your way out. There is a way, but it's very hard, especially when you're going at high speeds, which you're going to be doing for sure. So yeah, normally you would do a very sharp turn as you're going out, something in the something in the range of maybe a full 90-degree turn, because you're already entering at an angle that's already towards the wall, because you need to go like this, so you end up facing the problematic wall that's over here. So you have to end up like doing a very sharp 90-degree turn. You won't run into that, you would end up like over there. But it's very hard to do this corner without running into the wall, and not running into the wall saves you like a good full second, maybe even 2, depending on how things go. But yeah, it's very hard. This is probably the hardest door to go through on this planet. So you would end up over here, you would just kill the enemies over here. These zones are pretty simple, just straightforward. There is a little bit of optimization to do, for sure. Like, you want to get on this little hill over here, this one over here, and then it's the same as the, I think, was it the 20 zones? I think it was the first 10 zones where you have to go on hills. It's the same story over here. You want to stay high, because shooting downwards is much better than shooting forwards, because there's you have less distance to travel and you can cover more area than if you were to shoot over there, for example. So you definitely want to stay on the hills and shoot downwards if possible. You definitely want to jump from over here to this hill and then shoot there, shoot here. This one is pretty interesting. You don't want to get up here. You want to kinda just like follow the little steps, like not entirely up, but like not entirely down either. Like you wanna do a little bit of a slalom here before you go over here and kill the enemies on this side, if that makes sense. Let me just try and show it with the laser pointer. So you wanna kinda graze the border of the wall, and then you jump from here to here. This is where you want to end up, and then from here you just shoot the guys and you go to the horde. Kinda like this, yeah, like this, and you would end up behind the horde. But that's good, because if you end up on this side, you would have to shoot forwards, and I just explained how shooting forwards is has more travel time than shooting backwards, downwards I mean. So you wanna jump from over there. You wanna jump from over there to over here, and then from here you want to jump above and just kill all of them. You don't want to end up going up. You don't want to shoot go here, because you will either end up stuck over here or you will end up going over here. Neither case is good. So you want to be staying on this rock platform here and then go out on the main path. And depending on how things go, you might end up running into this. It's not that easy to prevent that from happening, but it definitely can be done. So if you're able to, you just this entrance is a little annoying because you have a ceiling above you, you have a wall on this side, you have this annoying thing over there. It's just a mess, and the steps are not exactly. Wait, what the hell happened there? Hold on. What? What was that? Okay, anyways. Yeah, this is an annoying entrance because you don't have much of a leeway. You don't have much room for error, so you can end up getting stuck over there. You can get up and get stuck over there. You don't want to go there because it's a loss of time. There's a huge roundabout that you gotta do. It's icky. It's disgusting. So ideally you would just go from over here, go above. And yeah, this zone is a little bit annoying. You have to kill everything manually because the turret over here cannot shoot at above these blocks over here. It can't shoot above these, and there's enemies over here that you have to kill yourself. And by the time you reach the end zone, they are also not visible because you are over here, and the drone can't shoot them from here either. So you'll end up losing time if you don't kill them all manually. So yeah, ideally you would kill everything manually, move on to the next zone. These zones are a little bit annoying to do because the enemies spawn here, but you want to go forward because of the amount of zigzag. I'm actually gonna try and show you how bad it is. The main path is not good in these zones. Like, look at that. Goes to the right side, goes to the left side, then goes to the right side again. There's another zigzag. It's doing snakes all over the place, and you want to stay forward in this case to save time, because that's how distance works. So for this zone you kinda want to shoot from maybe over here to kill enemies. Yeah, so you wanna maybe get over here and shoot over there, assuming you're up in the air and not on the ground. What was over here? Oh yeah, these guys are over here. So these should be relatively easy to do, assuming that you didn't mega mess up your routing. Like, you go there, you go there, and this is where you wanna shoot. You wanna shoot over here, like maybe in the hole, or maybe separated into two different things. With two splash perks it should be fairly easy. You can see how big the explosion is. Like, this should be enough to kill everything. I don't remember which way I went from over here. Okay. So for over here, how do you transition to the next zone? There's many ways to do it. There's None of them are good, but none of them are bad. There's basically no way to go wrong unless you run into here. This is a bad spot because you would end up falling over here, and then you might end up going above everything, and it just doesn't work. So you want to avoid this little hill over here. Maybe the best option is to go over here, but then again you're too far from enemies. So maybe when you're over here you wanna go to this side and just shoot at everything, and then go to this side. Why do you wanna go on this side? Well, because the door is here. Why is the door here? Just to be annoying, of course. So yeah, this is gonna be a pretty boring stream if it wasn't obvious already. Yeah, this door is gonna give you lots and lots of trouble. In fact, I remember when I was trying to speedrun the first 100 zones, I think, I always ended up splitting it into two, because this doesn't work. You're not gonna be able to have a proper transition between zone 50 and zone 51 without running into issues. In fact, I remember that on my 1 to 500 speedrun that's on YouTube, I was actually recording, and I got to zone 50 in 1 minute 6 seconds, which was my best at the time, and I had to stop at 50 even though I wanted to do a 1 to 500, but I ended up messing up big time over here, so I had to basically restart, but I did get a record, so that was fine. There is no good way to do this if you want to do it in one run. There basically is not. Like, the best you could probably do is this and this, but then you end up on this side, and you don't want to end up on this side because the enemies are not where you want them to be. You want to go through here first. And the other problem with this route is that when you're going over here, you can't get stuck in this little ledge over here. Like, I've done it many times, and it's very annoying. It's a run killer basically. You can't recover from it, and the place the bike spawns is not ideal either. You're just facing a wall. You can try and go here, but then you can end up like, it's not pretty. There's no good way of doing it. So if you can't do it in a time that in a reasonable manner that you like, just skip the transition and start from zone 51 without doing the transition from 50, which is what I've done many times because it's just annoying to do. And ideally, when you get to over here, if you're spawning from 51, you're spawning over here, but it's a lot better than going at full speed from the door to here, because you have to make a super sharp turn to go this way. Right, you gotta do this, which is a very sharp V-turn. Well, if you're starting on the teleporter and you're starting over this way, all you gotta do is dash sideways. I mean, I can't do it right now, but like this, you end up more or less where you wanna be. The other options is that if you have good enough reflexes, you turn, and I did it wrong, but like, you can turn a little bit and then dash over this one. You want to end up on this side. You don't want to go there. That's a longer path. It makes things hard. This is a lot shorter, a lot simpler, and basically it's a straight line. It's a lot more simple to do. So when you get to over here, you have enemies straight in front of you. You shoot them. Oh, was on the wrong rocket. There is a lot of places to get stuck into for the 51, 54 and 55. So from 51 to 55 you want to follow the main path because you would get stuck instantly if you try and go outside. For 56 and to 59 and including 60 it's a lot easier. I'm gonna show you when I get there, but it's a lot easier to go above everything. In this case you can't. The pillars are super high up and trying to go above everything is not ideal. You can see I'm high up and there are still pillars that are higher than me. They make these weird walls that you can't get over. So your best bet is to just follow the right path over here, the left path I mean, I don't know my directions apparently. So left path first, then right. Why right? You're gonna ask me why the right path and not the left path. Because this is a lot longer than this. Well, not a lot, but it's longer. This is a straight line. Well, this is a straight line, then a turn. Not a sharp turn, but it's a turn nonetheless. And then you have to do a choice here. It's a lot harder to do. Well, if you go through here, you can just go on the left side again and continue without any issue. Then you go on the right side again, and then this one, neither of those are good. Maybe the right one is a little bit better, but you gotta figure out what's best for you in here. There's no good way of doing it. But to recap, the routing is relatively simple. If you're starting on 51, dash diagonally if possible. If not, just turn and dash and go on the left path, right path, left path again, right path again, and then you end up on the left. So it's basically an alternation between left and right, and it's relatively simple. You don't make any sharp turns throughout the whole thing. That's what makes this routing super simple and super easy to do. There's no sharp turns, there's no complications. You can kill everything easily if you're using rockets. But yeah, just left, right, left, right, left. So maybe the right path over here. The other one is also a little bit longer and a little bit more complicated to do, so you might end up over here and shoot through the door on this side. Although killing the horde from over here is a little bit difficult. If you're going to be going straight forward, you end up with enemies that are all the way over there that you're not going to be able to shoot easily. So your other option is to go on this side. Ah. Hello. Oh. I got hit. Nice. So what you want to do instead is go on this side, because when you're over here you have easy access to the enemies that are right below you and the enemies that are over here. While if you're over here, you have overlap between the ones that are in front and the ones that are behind, so that's not ideal. But hitting the door on this side is a lot easier, although you end up also hitting this, which is not ideal. But let's check out the other one real quick. You go over here and then you go straight forward. So if you're able to do that one, do that. But if you're not, just follow the path from the left side over there. But if you can go over there, it's a lot less icky to do the transition through the door. You just bam bam, you're done. Now for these zones, dashing through these zones is through the main path, forget about it. You absolutely want to go on the pillars and go above everything if possible. If not, well, you're fucked basically. You're not gonna be able to do anything at all. Because the path here is the way the enemies are separated here is very annoying. Come on, okay. So maybe the first zone isn't that bad, but because you can see how far away they go all the way to over here. And they go all the way down here. It's a little bit hard to do with only one wave of rockets like that. So what you want to do is, ideally, you would go on top of this and then shoot everything from above. I didn't do it right, so I'm gonna try again. But basically what it is you shoot from above. That's the idea here. Like that. You kill everything from above. So like I said, you want to go above everything, because shooting stuff that's below you is always better than shooting stuff that's in front of you. You just do this. You spam jump, you spam rockets, and you pray to RNG that you hit everything on your way. I basically just failed at life, but that's fine. As you can see, there's enemies that are all over the place, and doing that through the main path is basically impossible. But that's gonna be fine if you go above everything like that. The transition to the boss though, you want to be careful. You want to be careful. If you're very high up, you're gonna end up in a bad spot on a wall. So you might end up like over here or something, and you're not gonna be able to get out of this. Where does the hover bike spawn actually? Yeah, you can see that the hover bike spawns here, and you can't go. You can get stuck over here. You can get stuck over here again. You can get stuck over here and then go out, but that's a loss of time. So ideally, you want to get to this zone and then go down on the main path and then kill the boss and go on the side over here. You do get a little bit of elevation on this side, but I think your chances are better of hitting the door when you're slightly elevated and hit the ceiling a little bit and then go through the door. Now you're entering the zigzag land, as I like to call it, because, well, the transition here is a sharp V-turn, and it's very annoying. It's doable, but you absolutely, with 100% certainty, oh my god, I can't speak, you will definitely lose speed here. There's no way around it, because you can't just go to the wall and hope that you would end up reaching over there eventually. There's like 4 or 5 things that will stop you, so your best bet is just corner a lot and then continue. Wow, what was that sound? Anyways, when you're entering, you might end up over here, somewhere in this line, and you would dash in that direction over there. Why? Because you want to have an extra dash to gain speed on the straight line. If you have one less dash, I mean, it can be argued that it's better to go over here, but what that means is that you're gonna have to be mindful of where you're going. While if you go over here, you have so much more space, it's much more open if you go in the back than if you're trying to cut this corner over here. So you definitely want to be careful what you choose to do here. But yeah, it's a nice little forward path where you just kill everything in front of you up until this ford over here. This is hard. I'm gonna be honest, this one is not easy. Why? Well, because you are coming from a left diagonal direction with a wall that is going in the left diagonal direction, and you have a horde that is on the right. So what that does is that you have to double task. You have to redirect yourself and you have to kill the horde. And you almost never end up killing the whole thing because there's enemies all the way up here. So normally your turret and drone will take care of that, but you can see how much enemies there are. It's kind of hard to wait. I think I saw a bug just now, but yeah, it's a little bit hard to do here because of how many enemies there are. There are 97 enemies and they're so widespread. It's a little bit annoying. So yeah, I wanna try and see if okay, so the health doesn't update. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I'm actually gonna screenshot that. Let me just screenshot, copy to clipboard. I'm gonna put this in the Discord. Let me actually try it on the other. When I go backwards, or does that happen only when going forwards? Okay, so that happens if you exit the zone at all. Okay. Okay, so that bug is reported. Now, assuming that you manage to get through the door without losing time, you end up facing another wall that is kinda easy to dodge, but if you get stuck in there, you're not gonna have a fun time. But it's generally easy to do this simple little turn. The problem with this zone in particular is that you are forced to do a, like, I don't know how to explain it. When you're going from over here, you kinda end up in a bad spot from a jump. You end up over here, you don't want to be over here, you want to be over here so you can do a sharp turn this way. You never want to do sharp turns from far away. You want to do them from over here. It might sound contradictory with the zone that I just showed in the beginning over here, but it's not the same thing. It's a double sharp turn while this one is only one, and you go in a straight line afterwards. The other one is like path. You want to cut those corners as much as possible. When there's only one, you want to get it wide, but when there's multiple at a time, you want to cut them as much as possible, because you're gonna lose way too much speed, way too much time if you do that. You see what I mean? You wanna I took the turn wide and I lost so much speed, and there's another wide turn immediately afterwards. So you wanna cut the corner like this, so you don't lose speed. There's a nice little gap from over there. There's a nice little bit of a straight line that you can take to save time from it. Like if you look over here, you're gonna end up over there. You're way too far away for this to make this jump. You want to start from over here in order to jump to over there. If you jump from over here, you're gonna undershoot it, and you're gonna have to do another dash that will lead you to the wall over here, and you don't want that. So you want to cut the corner in order to make this jump and then continue over to the next zone, which is super simple. Once again, just turn the corners. Okay, this one is icky, to say the least. You get a sharp turn. Well, not really, depending on how you if you do your routing right, correctly. I mean. Okay, so yeah, depending on how things go, you might end up hitting the wall or like cutting close to it, and you might have to you might lose speed by doing a sharp turn over here like that. Why do you want to go this direction? Because you have another turn right afterwards. In cases like this, like you can't go through here. Oh, you can. Okay, so you can go through this little corner over here to hopefully have a straight line to the next turn, but that's not easy to do, and you gotta be careful here. You don't want to end up in this wall nor the other one, because that's gonna speed and time lost at both at once. So if possible, take the same line again, cut the corners and continue forwards. And then you have this very tiny S. That's why I said that you want to take, that's why I said you want to cut the wall over here, because when you're over here you can straight up cut all corners. While if you were coming from over here and you end up jumping, you would end up either there or there. There's no easy path without running to the wall over there, or like cutting it to over here. I'm even making sense. Like I'm ready to bet that nobody's understanding anything that I'm saying. I'm not good at explaining stuff. None of it makes sense. I just know it already, but I'm gonna keep going because I said I'm gonna do it. So this one, you have a straight line right there, but the spawns are over here. So if you try and turn, you might end up hitting the wall over there. So if you're able to turn yourself without and dashing sideways, do that. But if not, you can just turn slightly, hit there, and hit the wall for the zone wall for a little bit, and then continue. The boss is... Why are all the bosses backwards? Hello? Why are all the bosses backwards? What's going on here? That's super weird. Am I pushing the boss right now? What's going on? Oh my god. That is amazing. Oh my. Okay, you ended up over there. So yeah, this one is super easy. There's nothing special about it. The only thing that's gonna be a problem is the wall that you're greeted with after the door. It can be a little tricky to get. Whoa, okay. That was a little weird. Oh, okay, there it is. How did I do that? Everything got like super dark. I don't know how I did it, but I did it apparently twice. Okay, so back to routing. If your angle at the door is correct, you are going to end up just going straight through the leaves over here. It can be a little bit confusing because you're going through leaves and you don't really see what's behind them. So you kind of have to learn that, you kind of have to memorize that there's the path goes on the right side and there's a wall on the left side. So you can try and go this way ideally, but it's not safe because you can end up running in here. You can end up running into this wall or get stuck or something. So over here you have a lot of more on the left side of the tree, you have a lot more open space, and you can see the path when you get out in order to react and dash in the appropriate direction. While when you're over here you have leaves for a lot more time before being able to see where you're actually going. So if you're confident, go straight to the right side and cut the little bit of time that you can get from this here, from the left side. If not, then take the left side and be safe and take the slightly longer route. This zone is pretty simple, just everything straight ahead, standard routing, zigzag. Zigzags in the open spaces are useful like that because that's basically how I do my dashing, in a zigzag straight dash pattern. So it's an easy way to gain speed. This sword is super hard. You have this super wide angle that is very hard to deal with. You have two options: go far away, shoot from the side, and most likely you're gonna hit the door and wait for everything to reach the enemies. Your other option is go above and go through the door, but what can happen is that you can hit this little ledge over here and do this, and you would hit the you'll go above the door, which would lose you time. And now comes the maybe the second trickiest part of the whole planet. This is not gonna be fun for anyone to do, because we have this tiny wall over here that's preventing you from shooting at stuff from the side, and shooting at stuff from over here everything is far away. Shooting from over here, I think there's stuff behind the trees. No, but like, okay, so you can shoot at stuff from here, but if your turret fails to kill whatever's left, you're in for a bad time, because in this zone specifically the turret likes not shooting at stuff immediately. It really likes doing that, so if that happens to you, you're gonna end up being stuck on the zone wall for a long time until the enemies pop out and the turret kills them, or the drone kills them, or whatever. So you want to make sure that you kill all enemies before continuing. Going on this side is will be certain that you kill all enemies, but you also have to do extra maneuvering when you're getting out. So that's not ideal. Follow the path if possible. If you hit the zone wall, then no big deal really. This tree over here makes it seem like you can go through like on the first zone, but that's not the case. So once again, you want to follow the path. You have to ignore the tree that's over there. And the second tree is where you want to cut the corner. When you start seeing the tree, when you start seeing the tree, you want to book for it. Like you want to go through it as soon as you see it. You see the tree and you go through it as soon as you see it. This one, these little pillars may seem like they're a problem, but they're not. With 2 splash perks it's more than enough, just shoot at everything. Hitting wall here is inevitable, but you're not gonna lose too much time. Just make sure that you don't end up over here. just make sure that you don't hit this here. You're gonna have a bad time. So hug this wall if possible, then do this over here. Just hug the wall. Hug the walls, both of them. When you're exiting 78, hug the right wall, then hug the left wall, then hug the right wall again, because you want to position yourself for the turn that's over there. The turn that's the turn over there is very sharp and very hard to maneuver properly without losing all of your speed. You can't keep all of your speed. You'll always lose at least some of it when you're getting out, but that's inevitable. So in this zone you have 2 spawns. You have one on each side. If you can, shoot from over here. It's very hard to be this precise, but if you can do it, do it. If not, as you're dashing through, just path, you're done. This is actually a technique that you're going to be using in other zones. The shooting on one side and then the other, like that. There's a lot of zones that you're gonna need to do that on when on the ship. So yeah, this sharp turn over here is quite something, to say the least. Also, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like little dots everywhere that move. I don't know if that's just me or if you can see that as well, but there's like little dots that move all over the place. I don't know why that is. So yeah, this sharp turn over here, look at how sharp this is. And not only is it sharp, you can't hug the wall because you end up in this little corner over here, and you can't hug this wall either because you end up over here. So you have to be extra precise. You have to be extra precise by basically slowing yourself down intentionally so that you can cut the corner properly. There's very little room for error here because you have another pillar over here and you have another one over here. So let's count how many points of failure are there. There's 1, there's 2. I mean, if you count this one, it's actually 3. If you count this one over here, it's actually 3, and then you have 4, and then you have 5, and then you have 6. It just doesn't end. The points of failure never end on this corner over here. I absolutely hated speedrunning this part because of just how annoying this turn is, but you gotta deal with it. You just have to. Where does the hoverbike spawn actually? Let's see. Yeah, you're not gonna be using the hoverbike at all. You're gonna have to deal with the annoying corner that this is. I also just did a different way of doing it. You can do it either the slowdown way, the super precise thread the needle way, like going exactly on the path and not hitting any pillars. The other option is go here, then go here, and then go here. Well, not exactly, but like you can kind of do a little bit of a slide on the pillars over here. If you manage to bypass the first pillar, okay, the first pillar is the most important one, and then if you bypass it and slide over to the next ones, like so, you're gonna end up over here, and then when you dash, you're just gonna end up on the path again. So that's a good thing. That's another way of doing it. The door here is, you can kind of see it. over there, but you have to do a little bit of a turn to get through it, as you just saw. You can try and like I'm disoriented now. Okay. So depending on how you're getting out of this, assuming that you're getting out in the thread needle style, you're probably gonna end up in this region over here, and you can die. So you're probably gonna end up over here. Oh, thanks Pichu for following. So you're probably gonna end up on the main path. You're not gonna end up over here most likely. In which case you're going to have to go here and then go through the door. And this part you don't want to speedrun ever. Like if you get a good speedrun time on it once, you never want to touch this again ever. This is by far the most difficult section of the whole game to speedrun. The amount of points of failure in this section is uncountable. You can find as many points of failure as you want. Like when you're entering, where do the enemies spawn? Okay, so this one is pretty simple, but you can end up here. You can hit so many walls and pillars. There's so many paths. You can end up over here. You can, I don't know, you can end up over here. You can end up over here, and this just, I don't know. This is gonna be very hard to speedrun for everyone. There's really no way around it. You're gonna have a hard time, and you're probably gonna hate it, but you gotta do it if you wanna get those sweet extra seconds. The other problem is the amount of paths that you can take. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and 5. Which one do you take? None of them, to be honest. They are all bad. They are all super bad. In this one in particular, this one is bad for sure. You see enemies over there, but there's also stuff over there that you're gonna miss. So if you go through over here, you're gonna miss the ones over there. So I've never been good at speedrunning this section. I never was, and I probably never will be because of how hard it is. But I'm gonna try and explain it as best I can. So maybe go start over here and then shoot as you're entering. Of course you can damage mobs from outside. Maybe shoot there and then go here and like this, but this is so hard to do because you're going at such high speed after transitioning from the 80 zone. You're going at high speed, so getting here and trying to do this corner over here is not gonna be easy. So maybe the other option is to go through this dark tunnel, then shoot here and then shoot here, but then you end up over here, and this is bad. If there's enemies left behind that you didn't kill, you're gonna be stuck on this wall for a while. You're gonna stuck on this wall for a while. So ideally you don't want to end up here either, because that's the same outcome as oh, there's only 2 paths. What am I talking about? So going through here, you don't want to end up here. If there's enemies left behind, they're gonna take forever to get killed. So ideally you want to end up on this side, but ending up on this side is very hard because of this thing. I have had so many runs that were killed because I have run into this and there's no way around it. There's basically no way around it when you're stuck into it, other than just stopping and going backwards and then continuing. This is where the hoverbike spawns you. It's still not ideal because you're still gonna end up making mistakes. This on its own counts for the amount of points of failure that there are paths. So there's like 1 over here, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. So this on its own counts for 4 points of failure because you're gonna run into it regardless, unless you're like really good and manage to cut the corner and continue on. So ideally you want to hug the right wall here, like this, but then cutting this corner, you're not gonna like it at all. You're gonna run into this, you're gonna bash your head against it, you're gonna hate it a lot, you're gonna want to destroy it with your head, but it's never gonna happen. So assuming that you went through this zone by cutting the corner and going on the white path that you have over here, you are greeted with, as you saw, more bullshit. Where do I even begin? Even from the most open place, there's no way of killing everything. As you can see, I can't kill everything with a single rocket. Well, I guess this works, but that's not gonna happen in a real run. Never. So, assuming that you come in from the right side, I think you want to come from this side to the right, from the right side again. Yep, okay, so there it is. When you're coming from over here, come on. Yeah, there's no good way around this. You're probably gonna have to go through here, I think. No, that's also not good. There's nothing good about these zones. So like maybe... No, okay, yeah, this path is bad. Left is once again bad because if you have enemies left behind, you are very far away from everything and your turret is gonna have a lot of trouble getting to them. So you might end up having to stop here, go behind and kill whatever's left and then continue on from the correct path. But even from the correct path you're gonna have a bad time. Straightforward, but you still end up in a very enclosed space where you can't kill enemies at all. But assuming that you went through it okay, you can once again continue forward. This one is okay if you do it right, but since you're going at high speed, you gotta shoot there and shoot here, and you can still end up with enemies that are left. And if that happens, then once again, if you're hugging the wall, the turret is not going to be able to hit them, because this is where it is, and the enemies will get out of sight instantly. And then you get to this super open space horde that is okay to deal with, I guess. It's a wide angle straight forward, so your best bet is left, right. Well, I didn't do it, but you get what I mean. You might want to spam, but on this side you see how much enemies are there. This side has over half the... Well, both sides have a lot of enemies, but There's really no good way around this other than just coming in and spamming rockets everywhere. This first zone is super easy, you can just go through, but this one once again is not, because the turret is over here. There's enemies all the way in the back over there that if you go through here you will have to turn around to kill him. If you have leftover enemies you will have to turn around and kill them, or wait for the drone to kill them. So yeah, it's all bad. This is all bad. The first 5 zones are a lot worse than the last 5. I can tell you that much, but it's still bad. I've actually never run into this, but it can happen, so be careful. This is not a path that you can go through. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but whatever. So yeah, enemies over here, you wanna go on this side, and ideally you want to shoot everything that's on the left first. And then, looking at this, maybe the tunnel? No, tunnel is bad. So let's wait for them to go back to spawn. And shoot at, once again, spam rockets. This is once again bad. Maybe. Yeah, because you can end up... maybe not, actually. Okay, yeah, this one isn't as bad. Yeah, this one isn't as bad because you have instant line of sight for all enemies, so if you manage to like maybe shoot 3 or 4 rockets, you're gonna be good. And then you reach the boss, which is a straight line to the door, and trust me when I say this, when you're speedrunning and you get to here, you're basically you go from being super quadruple tense to super relaxed, because then you just go through these zones super easy. Just spam side, just spam everything. I'm gonna explain this code once I go back. I just wanted to make a point. So yeah, here you want to shoot, go diagonally, shoot over there. Same thing over here, maybe go above them. This one is a little bit trickier. You have to shoot sideways because they spawn over there. So you might have to do sideways dashes. For this one, you will have to do a double shot, because shooting a rocket that will kill all enemies from here is not possible, or at least not reliably. So you have to use the same left right technique, or right left, or whatever. So 1 2 1 2 and you're done. This horde is very hard, because if you go wide, if you take it wide and shoot from over here, you're going to reach the door before any rockets reach enemies, so you're gonna be stuck at the door for a long time. And if you try and go through here, you'll end up being sideways, you're gonna end up hugging the wall, and you're gonna end up over here, so that's bad. The only good way around it is if you manage to come from over here this way and then go over here like this. What happens here is that I come at the horde at an angle, and then the first part I kill from above, and then when I'm midway, I will take a turn towards the door while shooting rockets at the second half, and I will most likely end up hitting the door once again, but I would wait a lot less than if I was going straight forward. So when you're entering over here, it's pretty simple, just go straight forward. This one has 2 spawns, as you just saw, so you will have to shoot twice, most likely. This one has 1 spawn, and you end up in a little bit of a tricky situation if you're not careful. You might end up over here, or you might end up over here if you're not careful. So do a straightforward like this if you can. And then when you're getting into this zone, the zone 99, like that. Well, I didn't do it, but I spawned the wrong zone. Okay, so when you're entering this zone, it's gonna be a little bit hard because you're gonna have to do a kind of like this, and then go into this, going to the final boss zone, and this is where your speedrun will probably end. Before, you used to be able to buy the teleporter before you beat the boss, because there was no boss here before that. There was only a teleporter that you had to buy with money. Now it only unlocks if you beat the boss. So if you want to do a true long speedrun while going through portals, this is probably the only boss where you will be able to go through the portal and without slowing down, because the portal is so far back. So you have a chance of killing him before you hit the wall or go past the portal. But for most speedruns, you're going to have to stop entirely and go through the portal manually, unless you use the hover bike. But in this case, the hover bike is not reliable because it spawns you diagonally from where the teleporter is. For others, I'm not sure how it is. I'm gonna have to check. But if you want to be doing a true long speedrun, you either have to do a dead stop to go to the next planet, or just use the hover bike, or stop the speedrun and do splits of 100 zones each. So that's for the first planet. Now comes my most hated and most loved speedrun section of the game, the moon. I think I might actually start buying the drone here, because I went over, but that's fine, because I'm gonna have to want to kill enemies beforehand, because this is where stormers come in, and it's getting a little bit annoying if you're not careful. So I'm going to be explaining this as if you are starting on zone 101. You're gonna have enemies over there, but you don't care about them because you're too slow to be able to hit the wall before they die. So what you want to do is, it's very specific. From this teleporter, you want to dash. You're going to hit the ground twice over here, or maybe 3 times. You're going to go up these steps. Okay, you're going to go up these steps. You're going to dash from over here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, but it happens. You're gonna have to do it yourself to figure out where it is. And then ideally, I'm gonna try and show what I mean. You want to end up over here. This is where you want to end up, this little platform. So from what I noticed, you do your last dash over here somewhere. So that's the only way to end up on that platform, and that's the fastest way of doing it. because the first 2 or 3 zones are you're going to spend just trying to get as much speed as possible, as fast as possible. Like so. You want to go above these. You're gonna want to spawn this. So yeah, let me run through this again to show what I mean. Because it is very hard to go to, like I said, it's very hard to go to the portal on the first planet before without running into the wall and having to lose your speed. So whoops. So you do this. I failed. Okay, let's do that again. You will do this. Hit the platform like this, and you're already up to speed. You don't want to end up jumping on that platform. You most definitely don't. So you want to go skip the door and go there so that you can continue to this zone, and then just start spamming rockets everywhere. The speedrunning this planet is gonna be very hard to explain because of the very specific routing that it has. But yeah, assuming that you don't end up on the platform over there, you kill the enemies. You don't want to end up down here. Never end up down here. If you end up down here, it's basically a dead run, because you're gonna lose so much time getting the enemies killed. So you wanna end up over here. You wanna shoot the enemies over there. When you reach the boss, depending on your situation, if you, assuming that you jump off from over here, if you end up falling over here and you have to jump, go out the stairs and outside the zone entirely before without going up the stairs. Like, go only part way just so you have enough height, and then just jump around it. That's your best bet, because your turret is gonna kill the boss before you reach the zone wall anyways. But ideally you want to go above it so that you don't lose speed. I'm gonna try and show what I mean by that. You shoot and you go above, you kill it. You shoot there, you shoot there. In this case you have two options. When you're over here, you can either go over the enemies, shoot them, go to the next one, shoot them, go to the next one, shoot them, go to the horde, shoot the horde. But this specific routing is very inconsistent. You're going to notice this yourself if you try. Because of the low gravity, you can end up on ending up on a few levels lower than you normally do. It's gonna end up in you being too high to land on the platform, and you're gonna overshoot it or undershoot it or something like that. So your other option is just follow the path. Follow the path, shoot, jump over, shoot. You follow when I say follow the path in this case, follow it as much as possible without doing too much snaking around, because by the time you get here you're going to be at max speed for sure, because the moon and the ship, as we will see later, don't require you to jump to gain speed. For the town planet and the rest of the planets require you to jump to gain and keep up your speed. That's not the case for the moon and the ship. You only need to jump in order to get to specific platforms that you need to get to for your routing, and that's it. Well, that, and when you're at max speed you want to jump in order to get as much air as possible, because even if you're at max speed, the more you touch the ground you're going to lose a tiny bit of time every time you touch the ground. So you want to stay up in the air as much as possible once you're at max speed or near max speed. For this horde specifically, I have encountered many issues where neither the drone nor the turret shoot at anything before if you go the long way around. So you want to absolutely go here, go above them and shoot at everything manually. But the problem with this is that you can end up overshooting it and you would end up falling down. If that happens and you don't have any extra jumps left, assuming, you get to 116 and instantly go to the hover bike, and from there on you have to readjust yourself properly. But assuming that you didn't overshoot it and you did this, you shoot there, you shoot there, you don't want to end up like I just did. I don't know if you saw, but I was under the platform. You don't want to end up there because you can end up going with your drone under and you're gonna have to wait for sure. I'm gonna go back to this over here. Shoot there. Ideally you want to go on top of the platform, but that can't always happen. Or just shoot while you're above, and then shoot at everything above here, shoot at everything over here. Also, if you haven't noticed, there's the wall, the door is there, but all the space around it is free. So when you're on the moon, pretend that the doors don't exist. Don't try to go through the doors, it's a waste of time, waste of effort and all that stuff. So go above, shoot, go above, shoot, shoot. Speedrunning is simple here, it's mostly about killing the things efficiently. In this specific horde, you want to make sure that everything is dead before you reach the zone wall, because when you do, your drone is not going to be shooting. Whoops. What do I mean by that? Right now there is a bug where where boss zones and horde zones have like the zone wall be a physical wall for the drone and for the drone. So if your drone is beyond this line over here, as you can see right now, he will not be able to shoot. Oh, well, that is if you haven't completed the hold on. I'm gonna demonstrate what I mean by that. Yep. So horde zones and boss zones have a wall for the drone. I'm gonna need the drone. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, and this is the limit. This is where the zone wall is. And if your drone is beyond that wall, look at what happens. He can't shoot at anything that is in the current zone because there is a wall. As soon as you get out though, he can shoot just fine. This is why you should always make sure that everything is dead before you reach the wall. Otherwise, well, you're gonna lose so much time. most of the time that you're gonna be speedrunning this part, you're going to end up on the left side, like this. And ideally, you want to jump from over here, above these guys, stay high, like this. This part requires snaking, but it's not too hard to do. I'm just gonna heal up before I die. This part is basically go the exact opposite way the path is going. So you wanna go above, shoot, dash, shoot, dash, shoot, shoot again. And this is why you want to be careful, because going on this side you can end up not killing the boss instantly, and you're going to end up running, and you can also end up running into the door, right? So what you want to do is that while you're coming from over there, you do this and you end up over here, right? But this also has a tricky section where if you're not careful enough, you're going to end up losing a lot of time trying to get out of a spot. So assuming that you do this, if you undershoot, you don't want to end up on the ground. You don't want to end up in this section over here, because getting out of it without using the hover bike is impossible. You usually end up under this block and you can't jump. While if you're let's say over here, you can jump over, but you still lose time. So what you want to happen is dash on this part, shoot, jump, jump, shoot, dash, shoot, and you want to end up on this over here, where you basically need to find a route that allows you to flow, make everything flow into a consistent enemy killing spree. There's no perfect route for it. There's a lot of routes that are good, but generally you want to go over everything to kill it, because that's the most efficient way of doing it. Like so. Enemies here, enemies here, enemies here, enemies over there, boss, boom, dead. This section is a little bit hard if you're not careful, because the enemy spawns are super weird and they're on different levels, as you can see. So coming from over here, if your drone and turret don't take care of them, you're gonna have a bad time. So sometimes you might need to turn back to shoot, and you might end up hitting a zone wall and falling down, in which case you're gonna have to use the hover bike. And the best you can do is try and shoot as much as possible, and be mindful of where you're stepping. As you just saw, I did that super bad, so I'm gonna show you maybe how to do it properly. Oh yeah, I don't have any levels into my stuff. So yeah, assuming that you start from here, you try and spam rockets as much as possible. That's basically it. And you just saw how I fell down. I have to use the hover bike to get out, and sometimes that can mess you up even more because of the direction you're going. So as you just saw, I went over this way and I was not able to go back. So it can happen that there's no way out of your situation. So let's assume that you have your weapons properly upgraded. Generally they're going to take care of most of the stuff, but sometimes they can leave stuff over if they don't shoot at enemies instantly. So you want to make sure that you shoot at least some amount of rockets before continuing. Okay, this boss, if you don't make it to the stairs, that's fine, because you can just dash from over here and move over to the platform over here, because like I said, doors don't exist, don't use them. But if you manage to get to the stairs, you just go over here. But what that leaves is that you have a lot of travel time before reaching the enemies. If you take the other route though, you can end up being under where the enemy spawn, and your drone is probably not gonna be able to shoot at them. So ideally, assuming you're going at high speed, you're gonna do something like this, where you go up on the platform and you start shooting at stuff everywhere. The moon is a very open space, so it allows you to easily see where the enemy spawns are. It's basically where the grass is. Wherever there's grass, there's gonna be enemies that spawn. So that's gonna be your goal for where to shoot. And now I'm going fast just to show you that it's not that hard to kill enemies quickly. I'm gonna go back and show some trickier spots now, but it's not too bad. So like I said, grass equals enemies, assuming you go from over there. If you're super MLG pro, you can do something like I don't know, getting up on this and then dashing from over there. I've done it a few times. It's super fun, but it's super hard to do. Or you can also jump from this one over here, which is also hard to do. But these first zones are super easy because the grass is right under your feet and easy to access. So killing enemies with rockets is not that hard, you know. So yeah, grass. There's not much explaining to do in these parts, it's just grass. You look for the grass. The routing doesn't have to be super precise here, for this part at least. But this is where stuff gets interesting. Because over here you have a big drop. Doors don't exist, once again. You're not gonna be coming through this side, ever. So you're gonna be coming from this side because you want to make sure the boss dies. Because like I said, the turret and the drone don't always shoot at enemies instantly. So you want to go from this side to kill him, and then you want to be from over this side, kill. You're going to be very high up for some of those zones, so you have to be careful where you go through. But for these few zones, you can safely stay on the ground and say that you're good until the zone that I'm gonna tell you to. Ideally, you want to jump over the steps because, as you can see, they kind of slow you down. But jumping over them makes it a lot better. So ideally, you want to jump over them. For this one in particular, there's not much to be done. You're going to be high up regardless because of your speed. You can't kill them instantly. This one you can, this one you can, this part you want to be careful. Okay, you have two choices. You can either follow the grass and go from here. If you follow the grass, you can end up in the situation where you undershoot and you have to use hover bike. That's gonna lose you time, and you may end up in a unmaneuverable situation. So ideally you want to go through the steps over here by jumping as much as possible before continuing. Otherwise, your other option is this platform. Let me try and get to it. That's all wrong. I made the wrong jumps. When you're speedrunning, you're gonna end up feeling when you need to jump and when you need to only dash on the moon and the ship. So you shoot at enemies over here. I didn't do it right, but I'm gonna try and show you what I mean by that, because that platform is very important if you want to like that, like this, and then you jump over everything. These zones are not hard, you can just go forward, kill everything. And I just failed right now, as you saw, because I hit the wall, so I wasn't able to reposition myself. Also, I just went through the door, but doors don't exist, right? Well, they don't exist, but also it's for this zone in particular, it's kind of a reflex, because if you go on the left side, you kinda lose field of vision, I think. Where do the enemies spawn? Yeah, they spawn right in the middle, so if you don't go above, which is not ideal because you're way too high up, you don't want to be high up, so just go through the door. It's relatively easy to do. And once again, grass, grass, grass. This one wasn't grass, but you gotta learn the spawns. And we are already at the end boss. As you can see, the moon is super simple to speedrun compared to the first planet. The first planet is by far the hardest of all right now to speedrun compared to the moon. Especially the 81, 85, 81, 89 zones. Those are super hard. So yeah, like I said, you're not gonna be able to kill the boss and go through the teleporter without losing your speed for the rest of the planets, because the boss is far back. Your rockets are not gonna reach. The teleporter is very much in front. You're gonna overshoot it so fast. There is very little time for you to spawn the boss and for your robots to kill the boss. That's not gonna happen. You can sometimes it can take very long time for them to kill it, as you saw that just now. They would need to kill it instantly for you to be able to go through the portal. Where does the hoverbike spawn you though? Relatively close to the portal, so that might be something to consider if you want to keep your speed. Right? So now the ship. The ship is more or less a straight line. It's gonna be super simple. For the first one though, okay, the first one you don't wanna leave the zone too quickly, because if your drone doesn't target instantly, you're gonna have enemies left over that your turn is gonna have a hard time killing, because your drone kills everything instantly while your turret does not. So you gotta keep that in mind. Here you gotta kinda shoot to the side. The first 5 zones are kinda go like this. You gotta be on the side because of how the spawns are placed, as you just saw. I'm gonna go through them again just so you can see. As you can see, it's on the side, and because of how fast you can be going, your drone sometimes doesn't have time to target any enemies at all. This one is not that much big of a deal. It's an open space. This one is kind of different though, because if you end up hitting the zone wall and there's enemies left over there, as you just saw, you can see how long it takes to kill that last little enemy that's hidden in the corner over here. So yeah, you gotta make sure that you shoot at least a little bit in those zones. So this one, like I said, the ship is mostly a straight line. You can see that all the spawns are on the sides, and all you gotta do is this, and you're done. For this part, you can just sit on the spawn path and just go through everything like so, regardless of what weapon you're using. So for this one, you kinda wanna go like this, in a diagonal, go in between the two spawns, because you're gonna be shooting like this, between the two. This one generally is killed before you reach the wall, but once again, since you're going super fast, you gotta make sure that you kill the boss, because otherwise you run into the door. And since the ship is all walls, this time doors do exist, so you have to go through them. Some zones like this one have very spread out enemies, so if you want to be quick with killing enemies here, you can be conservative with your rockets. You have limited energy for the more spread out zones. For this area specifically, there's not much. There's only the first zone that's like that. You can see they're kind of spread out across the whole thing. These ones not so much. You can just go over them, 2 or 3 shots, you're done. I think this one is the same. Yep. This one is the same as well. A lot of the hordes in the ship are hard because of, look at this. It's basically more than 220 degrees of enemies. So what you're gonna have to do is basically spam like this, or just wait for the robots to kill everything. But because of how slow, yes, there is a prestige mechanic, Ramuz. It's called time warping. When you time warp, you get time cubes that you can spend on research that improves various aspects of the game. But right now I'm not doing any tutorials. If you want to ask questions about the game, you can do it in the Discord that by doing !! time warpers, I think. There we go. So the Discord link is in there. You can join the Discord and ask any questions that you have over there, because right now what I'm doing is a speedrun routing technique, I guess. I'm not really gonna be showing off what the game has, how to play it, the basics and all that. I'm going to be showing specifically how to speedrun zones and all that stuff. So yeah, this horde, like I said, just spam as much as you can, because you can still end up with enemies left over by the time you reach the door. And I believe that yep, the drone cannot shoot through the wall because yeah, that stuff. Yep. That's a problem that's gonna have to be fixed for the sake of speedrunning, but for now you're gonna have to deal with it. So this is where you have a few very spread out zones that are kinda hard to deal with. You kinda have to spam through them to kill them fast. There's not much to say for the ship. Like I said, it's a straight line. You just gotta spam through everything. There's nothing specific about routing. You just... Okay, this one. Since you are guaranteed to hit the wall, or almost guaranteed, I guess. Let's try it out. you're almost guaranteed to hit the wall, so all you can do is spam rockets in advance. Oh, I've never actually done that. I don't know how I did that, but I did, I guess. Oh, I guess the door was already unlocked. But I don't think I've ever actually defeated the horde without either running into the wall or running into the door. It's kinda hard because of this drop here that can result in you hitting the top over here. So, continuing on, I might go up to 300 today. I don't know what I'm gonna do once I'm done. I'm gonna go up to zone 300 and stop there, and I'm gonna do the rest some other time. I don't know when. So spawns over here are okay. These are the interesting zones because the spawns are kind of on the side of the path, and you can just run through them like this. This one is a little bit annoying because as you enter the zone, the drone doesn't have visual to the enemies that are over there. So you might, and there's two little enemies over on this side, I think. Yeah, there's a few enemies on this side. So you kinda end up with a little bit of an awkward situation where you have to shoot on the side before continuing. Also, once again, spread out zones. You gotta spam. You can't be conservative about it. The spawns here are not friendly. Once again, spam through the horde. Don't care. Don't care about conserving energy. You have to. You have to use up your energy. You're definitely going to end up in a time where you're gonna run out of energy. That's inevitable on the ship if you want to run into walls as little as possible, because there has never been a case of me speedrunning the ship where I don't hit half the zone walls. It just can't happen. You're going so fast and the enemies are so spread out that there's just no way to do that without running into walls. Yeah, once again, spread out enemies, kinda hard to deal with at high speeds especially. Bosses are also hard to deal with when you're going at a high speed, because when you're going at such a high speed, your rockets basically don't matter anymore. You're going to hit the wall regardless. If let's say that I'm going through here, right? Let's say that I'm following the path. If I shoot at the closest point, regardless of where I shoot from the path, I am going to hit the wall before my rockets reach the boss. If my robots don't shoot the boss before I reach the wall, which doesn't always happen, and that, to be honest, I almost always hit the wall on most bosses in this planet. Once again, spread out enemies, you gotta deal with it. There's not much to be done about it. There's not much to be done about it. Sorry about that. Even this one, I think. Oh, okay, this one isn't spread out, but it's kind of on the side. So you're mostly gonna be following the, I don't know. You're gonna be following this side, I think, and then you're gonna want to go on this side to prepare for the horde, but the enemies are on this side, so that's a little bit annoying to deal with. But it's definitely something. Once again, horde is extremely wide. You can see it goes everywhere in a kind of a square shaped pattern. But luckily there's not a lot of enemies, so if the drone shoots quickly, you're not gonna have to deal with too much stuff. but it can definitely happen. Most of the times you're gonna hit the wall. When you're speedrunning the ship, you're gonna hit the wall, always. A lot. There's no way around it. Yep, you saw that, I ran into the wall. The enemies just don't die fast enough. This one is more clumped up together. Sometimes, like in the boss that you just saw, sometimes you have a good path to go under him and then go for the door, but you don't always have that because some zones are a lot wider and the door is like kind of more on the right side. So yeah, let's continue. These zones are more clumped up together, a little bit easier to deal with, but once again, this horde isn't as bad, but if you look at it carefully, it can cause a problem on this side over there. But generally, if you shoot like this, it's gonna die pretty quickly, so you're not gonna have too much of an issue. These zones just straightforward, kill everything, it's not too hard, boss, boom, dead. This zone though is a little bit annoying because I think the turret doesn't have... Oh, it does, but this zone is like the same as the beginning. If you run into the wall before all enemies are dead, your drone is not going to be able to shoot them and your turret is not going to be able to kill them instantly, so you might end up losing time in this part. I don't think I've ever talked this much on Australia. Jesus Christ, my throat is killing me. These zones, you also, I think you want to do it dashing sideways. So let's say that you're entering through the door, you're on this side, you want to switch like this. Just to make sure that everything dies. Then you transition into a section where you go straight forward without caring. Okay, I'm just gonna go through that real quick to explain. Whoops. Come on. There we go. Yeah, this is a problem that you may encounter when speedrunning that part. But you gotta deal with it. So yeah, what I was doing here is basically I was dashing sideways and shooting forwards, but I was kinda hugging the backside too much. You kinda wanna be on the path because just so that you're closer to enemies, but that's not always possible. So come on, like this. You don't wanna go too far back, just so that in case your robots don't start shooting instantly, that they don't that you don't hit the wall. But it's not always possible to do that. So sometimes you can just go forward and let the robots do their thing, but do whatever you're comfortable with. Like I said, this is a straight line. Just go over there, way over there. Yeah, that's another thing. If you hit the wall before all enemies are dead, you're gonna have a bad time. These are gonna take forever to die and you're not gonna like it. But yeah, let's show the straight line once again. You just shoot in front of you and whatever spawns you're gonna definitely hit for sure. But it can happen that you hit the containers because the path is so narrow. You can end up doing stuff like this and then this, and then you're gonna have a hard time like readjusting yourself because of how the vectors work. You gotta learn how to control yourself by strafe dashing, It's not exactly intuitive, but it's the best way to keep your speed, at least once you have it. And in order to get your speed first, well, you just zigzag, like I just said. But assuming that you already have your speed by the time you get to here, you're just gonna be doing. Hold on, let me just show you what I mean. So assuming that you already have your speed by the time you get there, you're not gonna want to turn at all. You don't want to do that. You don't want to zigzag. You want to stay forward like this, you know. But it's kind of hard to do if you're not used to the strafe dashing. So once you go through the door here, the enemies are up there, so it's a little bit hard to deal with. The best thing that you can do is shoot like this. Yeah, they definitely are great for movement. They're also very good to get used to the strafe dashing, or just dashing, or just bunny hopping, or whatever. The ship more so than the moon, because you can't fall off and it's just a straight line, so it's great for practice. I guess the ship is better for learning the basics of bunny hopping and strafe dashing, while the moon is good for practicing what you've already learned and learning how to use it to route yourself properly. But yeah. You're right on that one. These zones are a little bit annoying because, like I said, the enemies are like up top over here and you can't do much about them. This one is a little bit different because there is a smaller climb. Also, I haven't really tested this, but it might be better not to go on the steps like I did on the moon, like the same way I did on the moon, to jump over them instead as much as possible. For this first staircase, you really can't do anything about it because it's just so steep. Like, I guess you can, but at the speed that you'll be going, you're gonna hit it basically instantly. So maybe you do something like this. But yeah, these zones are a little bit tricky. You're probably gonna run into stuff a lot. This one is right in front of you over here, and then it's under here, so this one is gonna be easy to kill. This one is not fun. Why? Because you have this tiny incline, and I don't know how to explain it. It kind of propulses you up. So by the time you reach the horde, you're gonna be like, why am I above everything right now? I don't want to be above everything. So you don't start falling instantly once you kind of go over it, you know. So this horde is an unavoidable wall. You're going to run into the zone wall over there regardless of how you do things, unless you're some kind of magician and you do some sort of super trick, like, I don't know, let me see over here, something like this maybe, but even then you still run into the wall. So the best thing that you can do for this zone is align yourself with the red so that you can go through the door as soon as you get out, as soon as you're done, or as soon as you fall down. Since this is the same area, the enemies are once again upstairs and they're not fun to deal with. This one is down here. For this boss, generally your robots are fast enough to kill it before you reach the wall. But the thing that's fun about it, or rather it's still kind of annoying, before there used to be a wall above it over here. Right? This was not here before, there was a straight up wall the same way there was on the horde. But right now the problem that has is that you still hit a wall. Okay, I'm gonna try and show you what I mean by that. Because like I said, the ship follows the same rules as the moon. You don't jump to keep your speed, you jump to keep your airtime, because you want as much airtime as possible without going too much over the... Okay, so here it is. Okay, I didn't do it, but I'm gonna try and show you what I mean. There's still some sort of ceiling that you can hit and lose a little bit of time, but it's not nearly as bad as the time you lose on the horde and the previous wall that was on the boss zone. You can hit over here, you see? If you, that is depending on how things go. The other problem is that when you're so high up, these enemies are spread out and you can't really reach them. So if you end up being over there, you're gonna have to wait for the enemies to die before continuing. And once again, these zones are spread out, some of them at least. Especially this one. This one is kind of annoying because it has enemies over there and enemies over there. When you have a V-neck like going outside, so they are kinda not immediately accessible, I'm not sure how to say it. And once again you have this stupid super spread out horde, and once again all you can do is just spam and wait for the robots to kill the enemies. This one is a straight no-brainer, except this zone and this zone. Boss zone, let it get killed. This one is straight, there's not much to say about it. Just go forwards. Since the horde has... this is a horde, you want to go over it, but you also want to go diagonally, so it's not always possible to do both at once because of the placement of the spawns. So you can sometimes end up hitting either the door or the wall, depending how you do things. It's a little bit hard to get this one perfect. This one I think is also a straight run. And look at this, we are already at zone 300. It's really not too hard to speedrun this part. I think the easiest planet to speedrun is definitely the ship, because there's less points of failure than the moon. It's a straight line mostly, and you can't fall off. So if you want to start practicing speedrunning, definitely go with the ship first. Complete all zones from the ship and then practice dashing, bunny hopping, whatever you want to do. Then practice routing, well, not routing, but like killing enemies quickly before continue to the rest of the planets. When I started speedrunning the game, only the first planet was existed, so it was I was kinda stuck with the hardest part of the game to speedrun at the beginning. Also, this seems to be a bug. I don't know what's going on, but after a certain amount of time, the boss just turns around and doesn't care about you. It's as if he's like, he sees you in the zone and he's like, come on, are you gonna pay attention to me? Or not, like what's going on? And then he gets mad at you and just turns back, yeah, he's back to you. I'm just gonna post this real quick in the Discord. Let's actually try and see if that happens consistently. Let's see if that happens when there's no thank yous, or let's try this. See if it happens again. maybe not. Maybe it's just a different bug. Huh. That's kinda odd actually. I think it happened only with bosses that had time cubes in them. So yeah, that was all I wanted to show for today. Oh, it happened again. So what causes that though, I wonder. Huh. Okay, that was weird, but anyways. Also, for anyone that doesn't know, you can kind of go out here if you want to. You can't really go anywhere from there. Also, there's hidden doors. Hold on. Wait, what? Where's the door? Oh. There's hidden doors that... Wait, what? Okay, yeah. So it's somewhere around here, I think. And there he goes again. I think it's like over here somewhere. I'm not sure. Anyways, oh, whoa. Okay. I wanna see if I can actually get somewhere with this. Nope, doesn't seem like it. I didn't think it did because they have said that they were going to make this unescapable. So I guess they did do it. Yep. Okay. So yeah, if you came for the speedrunning explanations and all that stuff, thanks for being here. That's all I'm gonna do for the speedrunning part. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing now. I don't know if I want to continue. Maybe I will. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just do a speedrun. Because why the hell not? I'm just gonna do a regular run from zone 1. From zone 1 to zone 500 again. But yeah, that's it for the speedrun part. If you wanna stay, that's fine. I might still do other stuff. Oh really now, Pichu? Are you serious about that? On a scale of me to 10, how serious were you about that? Because we all know how serious I am. So basically me. Okay, so yeah, let's just do a quick 1 to 500 run, and then I might play also afterwards. I don't know. I might just do a quick 1 to 500 and then end it there. And I'm gonna do the rest of the zones afterwards. That is quite some lag. Well, I just messed that up. I messed up my own route for this. Yep, you just saw one of the mistakes that I did that I explained in the first part of the stream, where I got stuck. That's also another mistake that has happened many times when I've been speedrunning. And as you can see, you can go above most of the stuff over here. And you just saw how I ran into that wall. And this one too, apparently. And that's another one, like I said, the tree, you gotta be careful with that tree over here. I did that mistake. Yep, there you go. I guess that's one way of showing the mistakes in a real speedrun, just being bad at everything. As you can see, I am having so much trouble. This is one thing that can happen. You're gonna be left with one enemy that you can't see, and you're gonna spend so much time waiting for it to be killed. It's not pleasant, this part. Also, shooting preemptively is sometimes good if you know where the spawns are. If not, well, you might lose some time depending on how things go. Also, as you just saw, my drone didn't shoot instantly, so it didn't kill the boss instantly. That's not what I wanted to do. So in a real speedrun, like I said, you're probably not gonna be able to go through any portals by keeping your speed. I spawned the boss instantly as I went in the zone, but my drone didn't shoot it instantly, nor my turret. So I ended up going above the teleporter before it was activated, so I ended up hitting the wall, which means that it's basically you have to either split the run there or that's it. Or just restart depending on what you want to do. This one is super easy to show, the way you're going above everything. I kind of made a mistake there, but it wasn't too bad because this was a very bad mistake. You don't want that to happen. So yeah, when you're speedrunning, you're gonna have a hard time being consistent because of how many possibilities are there. But sometimes you will find out that there's routes that exist when you mess up. This can also happen when you get stuck at the door that doesn't exist. But you don't want to have that to happen. You want to either go around it or go straight through it. Like this. Most of the time you're not even gonna see enemy spawn. So that's why you want to learn where their spawns are, because sometimes you're gonna be shooting at stuff that's not even on your screen yet. And as you just saw, I made a mistake again. So you're gonna have also can't hear you. What? Okay, Laser, well, sorry to hear that. You can't hear me though. Is my audio working? It should be working. Anyways, it seems to me that it's working. OBS is telling me that it is, at least. But yeah, that's a problem with non-affiliated Twitch channels, that you can only have the source. You can't drop down the quality for streams. So yeah, as you just saw, I entered the zone, and even if I spawned the boss instantly, the portal didn't activate until I was like halfway there. So yeah. It's kinda weird how I spent 3 hours explaining my routing for the first 300 zones, and I do a speedrun of all that in like 10 minutes, not even that much. I saw a bunch of people just coming the stream. I went from 2 to 5 viewers. If you came here for the routing explanation, or you kind of missed it. Sorry about that. I literally just finished explaining all of that. And once I'm done with the speedrun to 5, this example, I guess, speedrun to 500, I'm gonna stop the stream because my throat is kind of killing me right now. I've actually never talked that much on the stream ever. Say this stuff at full speed. I don't think that's possible, because there are some zones that have some very specific routing that you need to do. You saw how fast I actually traveled from the beginning to the end of the zone, and the boss died so slow compared to how fast I'm traveling. So this portal specifically, it is 100% impossible to Pichu, I don't think I wanna talk fast because I'm already having enough trouble talking normally because of my accent. I wish I could talk fast. This is one of the mistakes that I've made in my speedruns. Pandora is very good at getting stuck in trees, but at least it's a very open area. So, oh yeah, something I wanna show. If you decide to speedrun Pandora without on your own, beware of this. Whoops, no, not this. Hold on. If you end up on a slight like this shape over here, you can end up, come on, since you have to dash jump all the time, you can end up kinda arc jumping. I don't know how to explain it. You can end up hitting everything around the door but not the door itself. Hopefully I make that it happens on this one. Also be careful of the zone 40 boss. There's something you gotta be careful not to end up above the ledge over here, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to go through. I just stopped to say it because it's very important. And probably the biggest run killer for the whole run. For the whole planet, I mean. Pandora has some zigzag zones, like I think it was twisty, no, not twisty tunnels, Twilight. I think it was the 70 zones that had a bunch of zigzag zones. Pandora has a lot of those, and they're pretty fun to deal with if you know what you're doing. Yeah, you saw that happen just now. I was going over the door in an arc shape. That's a common problem in Pandora doors. And yeah. If that happens, you basically lose at least 2 seconds of time. Same problem with the portal, it's way too close to the zone entrance for it to activate before you overshoot it. The town zones are mostly about memorizing the enemy spawns. Mostly. It still has some bit of routing, but it's mostly memorizing. It's also mostly a straight line. Once again, like the ship. What? This is one of the most annoying hordes of across all planets. bendy boardwalk is also kind of tricky if you don't know what you're doing, which I clearly am not. Okay, so yeah, but 501 to 800 is basically the same as 1 to 300, so how about no? I would have done one if zone compression was still a viable tactic on 10 wave zones, but it's not, so I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I mean, sure, maybe once I'm done with the research and there's more research implemented that I can go beyond that, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, to be honest, the 501 to 800 guide will become a thing at one point because the devs want to have 10 planets over total. Well, there's only 5 right now, and they just loop. But yeah, once the rest of the plans get implemented, I might probably do a guide for that as well. So I think I'm gonna end this stream here. It's been 3 hours. My throat is absolutely dead right now. If that was of any use to you, if my explanations were of any use to you, well, thanks for watching. If you thought that this was boring, well, it's very possible. I just wanted to try to stream something different for once. If you even understood anything of it, because I don't think I explained anything very well. So thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see if there's anyone that I can host. Don't start playing anything, please. Thank you. Nobody is streaming. Nice. So I guess I'm just gonna end the stream here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you some other time.